On January 23, 2025, President Trump signed Executive Order 14,176, mandating the declassification of government records concerning 3 of America's most significant assassinations: President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Between March and July 2025, federal agencies released over 340,000 pages of previously classified documents, materials that had remained hidden for decades. This video examines the Robert F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King, Jr. files using only verified information from official government sources. We will focus exclusively on what the declassified documents reveal, avoiding speculation and presenting only documented facts. All information presented comes from the National Archives, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, and other official federal sources. Let's examine what these documents actually say. Senator Robert F. Kennedy was assassinated on June 5, 1968, at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles. He died the following day. The official investigation concluded that Sirhan Sirhan, acting alone, fired 8 shots from a .22 caliber revolver. Senator Kennedy was struck 3 times. The newly released documents, 84,524 pages released between April and June 2025, provide additional context to this investigation. Document Set 1. FBI Investigation Files. The April 18, 2025 release included 10,185 pages of FBI investigative materials. These documents detail the immediate response and initial investigation. Key findings from these files include: first, extensive witness interviews conducted in the hours following the shooting. The FBI interviewed over 300 individuals present at the Ambassador Hotel that evening. Second, detailed forensic analysis of the crime scene, including ballistic evidence and autopsy reports. Third, investigation into Sirhan Sirhan's background, associations, and potential motives. Document Set 2, CIA Records. The May 7th release included 64,686 pages, the largest single release. This set contained CIA files that had been withheld under national security exemptions. According to the Office of the Director of National Intelligence statement released April 18, 2025, quote, "Files related to the assassinations of RFK and MLK had not been digitized and sat collecting dust in facilities across the federal government for decades. The CIA documents reveal intelligence assessments of domestic security threats in 1968, surveillance activities related to political figures, and interagency communications during the investigation. Importantly, the documents also show what the CIA did not have. There is no evidence in the released files of CIA foreknowledge or involvement in the assassination. The forensic discrepancy, one aspect that has attracted significant attention, involves forensic evidence. The autopsy report, conducted by Dr. Thomas Noguchi, Los Angeles County Coroner, documented that Senator Kennedy was struck by 3 bullets. According to the autopsy, the fatal shot entered behind the right ear at close range. Physical evidence and witness testimony placed Sirhan Sirhan in front of Senator Kennedy, not behind him. This apparent discrepancy has been noted by researchers for decades. The newly released documents include FBI interviews with witnesses who describe the sequence of events, but they do not resolve this forensic question. The official conclusion remains that Sirhan Sirhan was the lone shooter. Additional discoveries. According to the Director of National Intelligence statement, quote, "In the course of searching FBI and CIA warehouses for records not previously turned over to the National Archives, an additional 50,000 pages of RFK Assassination Files were discovered. These newly found documents are being processed and will be added to archives.gov on a rolling basis. It is significant that documents related to a 1968 assassination were still being discovered in federal facilities in 2025, 57 years later. This suggests that previous declassification efforts were incomplete. What the documents do not show. It is equally important to note what the released documents do not contain. There is no evidence of a conspiracy involving multiple shooters. There is no evidence of government involvement in planning the assassination. There is no evidence that Sirhan was acting under orders from a foreign or domestic entity. The documents show a thorough, if imperfect, investigation by federal authorities. They do not support conspiracy theories, but they also do not definitively answer all forensic questions that have been raised. Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. was assassinated on April 4, 1968, in Memphis, Tennessee. James Earl Ray was convicted of the murder and sentenced to 99 years in prison. On July 21, 2025, the National Archives released 243,496 pages of documents related to the MLK assassination, the largest single release of the 3 declassification efforts. FBI surveillance of Dr. King. The most significant revelations in the MLK files concern the FBI's extensive surveillance program targeting Dr. King. These documents confirm what historians have long documented. The FBI, under Director J. Edgar Hoover, conducted intensive surveillance of Dr. King from 1963 until his death in 1968. The newly released documents include wiretap transcripts from hotel rooms and private residences, internal FBI memos discussing surveillance strategies, communications between FBI headquarters and field offices regarding monitoring Dr. King's activities. The documents reveal the scope and intent of this surveillance. FBI memos explicitly describe efforts to, quote, neutralize King as an effective Negro leader. This language, now declassified, confirms that the FBI's surveillance was not solely for national security purposes, but included a political objective to undermine Dr. King's civil rights work. The COINTELPRO connection. Many of the MLK surveillance activities were conducted under COINTELPRO, the FBI's counterintelligence program designed to surveil and disrupt domestic political organizations. The newly released documents provide additional detail about COINTELPRO operations targeting the Southern Christian Leadership Conference and other civil rights organizations. Investigation of James Earl Ray. The documents also include extensive materials from the investigation of James Earl Ray, including FBI interviews conducted immediately after Ray's arrest in London in June 1968, analysis of Ray's movements in the months leading up to the assassination, investigation into Ray's possible associations and whether he had assistants. The investigation files show that FBI agents explored the possibility that Ray had accomplices or was part of a larger conspiracy. However, the investigation concluded that Ray acted alone. The unanswered questions. Despite the volume of released documents, questions remain. How did James Earl Ray, a small-time criminal with limited resources, successfully evade capture for 2 months, traveling from Memphis to Toronto to London? Where did Ray obtain the funds for international travel and false identification? The documents show that these questions were investigated, but they do not provide definitive answers. What the documents confirm. The MLK files conclusively demonstrate that the FBI conducted illegal and unethical surveillance of Dr. King. The surveillance was politically motivated and intended to undermine the civil rights movement. The FBI's actions violated Dr. King's constitutional rights. However, The documents do not show FBI involvement in planning or executing the assassination. They document surveillance and political interference, but not conspiracy to murder. The 2025 declassification represents the most comprehensive release of assassination records in American history. Over 340,000 pages made publicly available between March and July 2025. What these documents reveal: government agencies conducted extensive surveillance and investigations that were not fully disclosed for decades. Some aspects of all three assassinations remain unresolved or disputed. The declassified materials provide transparency, but not necessarily closure. All documents discussed in this video are available at archives.gov. We encourage viewers to examine primary sources and form their own conclusions based on evidence. This is declassified truth. We present documented facts from official government sources. Next video: CIA surveillance programs revealed in 2025 releases. Subscribe for evidence-based investigations posted every Tuesday and Friday.